What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I'm Reckless. Before we get into the video, make sure y'all DM me on Instagram, LifeWithRecklezz, or email me, LifeWithRecklezz@yahoo.com. Y'all see in the title what's going down. Let's get in the video, y'all.
So I'm not going to violate this norm of the rule of law. I'm not going to comment on an investigation that's ongoing.
Peter Navarro was indicted for contempt of Congress. Aren't you, in fact, in contempt of Congress when you give us this answer? This is an answer that's appropriate at a press conference. It's not an answer that's appropriate when we are asking questions. We are the committee that is responsible for your creation, for your existence of your department. You cannot continue to give us these answers. Aren't you, in fact, in contempt of Congress when you refuse to answer?
Congressman, I have the greatest respect for Congress. I also have the greatest respect for the Constitution and laws of the United States. The protection of pending investigations and ongoing investigations, as I briefly discussed in another dialogue a few moments ago, goes back to the separation of powers, which gives to the executive branch the sole authority to conduct prosecutions. It's a requirement of due process and respect for those who are under investigation, the protection of their civil rights. So
well, with all due respect to that, Iran-Contra was an ongoing investigation, and that didn't stop Congress from getting the answers. And you're getting in the way of our constitutional duty. You're citing the Constitution. I'm going to cite it. It's our constitutional duty to do oversight. Now, in that video, that was your answer to a question to me 2 years ago when I said how many agents or assets of the government were present on January 5th and January 6th and agitating in the crowd to go into the Capitol, and how many went into the Capitol. Can you answer that now?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, last time you don't know how many there were, or there were none?
I don't know the answer to either of those questions. If there were any, I don't know how many. I don't know whether there are any.
I think you may have just perjured yourself that you don't know that there were any. You want to say that again, that you don't know that there were any?
I have no personal knowledge of this matter. I think what I said the last time.
You've had 2 years to find out. And the day, by the way, that was in reference to Ray Epps, and yesterday you indicted him. Isn't that a wonderful coincidence? On a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, you're sending grandmas to prison. You're putting people away for 20 years for merely filming. Some people weren't even there yet. You've got the guy on video who's saying go into the Capitol. He's directing people to the Capitol before the speech ends. He's at the site of the first breach. You've got all the goods on him, 10 videos, and it's an indictment for a misdemeanor? The American public isn't buying it.
Right? How do we get Trump? How do we charge Trump in D.C.? Well, let's open the Capitol doors. Let's make sure there's no security at the Capitol. Let's stage a moment where people can trespass at the Capitol, as Nancy Pelosi says. The clip is so telling. I don't know why nobody else seizes this. It's because we have the greatest research team in the world on this program. Nancy Pelosi in her office saying, I've been waiting for this, trespassing at the Capitol. Why have you been waiting for that? Oh, that's actually what they charge 99% of J6ers with. Trespassing. Got it? Yeah, it was all set up to get Trump. So Thomas Massey asked about that and said, how many federal agents you had in the audience there at January 6th? How many feds were the ones kicking open the doors and breaking down the windows and ushering people in? How many little guys with earpieces? Because, boy, hot diggity dog, there sure are a lot of clips floating around the internet of men with earpieces opening doors. Check out this question.
It's our constitutional duty to do oversight. Now, in that video, that was your answer to a question to me 2 years ago when I said how many agents or assets of the government were present on January 5th and January 6th and agitating in the crowd to go into the Capitol, and how many went into the Capitol. Can you answer that now?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I don't know.
Oh, last time you don't know how many there were, or there were none?
I don't know the answer to either of those questions. If there were any, I don't know how many. I don't know whether there are any.
I think you may have just perjured yourself that you don't know that there were any. You want to say that again, that you don't know that there were any?
I have no personal knowledge of this matter.
I think you just perjured yourself. Thomas Massey, so good. And going in on Ray Epps. Ray Epps was charged this week, charged with a single count. It's like a misdemeanor. Now, Julie Kelly, who is just the best reporter on this, is like, whoa, wait a second. What do you mean a single misdemeanor? J6ers who aren't even there on January 6th, some people who weren't even there on January 6th are going to jail for 15, 22, 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Little grannies with their little 25.
And I'm still, that's one thing that I'm still learning about the whole, you know, J6 stuff, honestly. I know y'all probably like, dang, Recklezz, you're not saying too much. More of, you know, gathering info with this or what's going on and staying afloat. Because it's something that I definitely want to pay attention to with a lot of things that's going around.
Walking through the U.S. Capitol. Going to jail for 6, 7, 10 years.
I wasn't even there. That's crazy.
So what's the deal? Julie Kelly had a great tweet on this, how she's never seen anything like it because she's been following all these cases. You always see them stacked charges, right? Which Cash Patel has talked to us about. You stack these charges in order to get these big, maximum, juicy sentences, right? In order to have all this leverage. So you have Ray Epps, the guy who's on camera, time and time again, saying we must go into the Capitol. The guy who is declaring that the day of, the day before, and who is at the very front, who's like a part of the breach party that kicks down the garrisons, right? Ray Epps, and there's more footage coming out of Ray Epps, like all over the place, right? There's more footage of him. He was all over the place. There, at the very front, very tip of the spear on January 6th. He gets charged with a thing, what is it? ALX? It's like a misdemeanor. It was like protesting in a restricted area. Interesting. And people that weren't even there on January 6th going to jail for 25 years.
25 years is crazy.
The guys who gave a speech, Owen Schroyer is a good example.
Why were they going to jail for 25? Why are they going to jail for 25 years and weren't even there? I'm still, like I said, I think this is like my second video, you know, what's going on with J6, but
interesting. And people that weren't even there on January 6th going to jail for 25 years. Huh. Guys who gave a speech, Owen Schroyer is a good example. Guy gave a speech. He's going to jail. He's getting put in jail for giving a speech. He wasn't even there. That tells you everything you need to know. Thomas Massey actually had the cojones to ask about it. Listen.
And the day, by the way, that was in reference to Ray Epps, and yesterday you indicted him. Isn't that a wonderful coincidence? On a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, you're sending grandmas to prison. You're putting people away for 20 years for merely filming. Some people weren't even there yet. You've got the guy on video who's saying go into the Capitol. He's directing people to the Capitol before the speech ends. He's at the site of the first breach. You've got all the goods on him, 10 videos, and it's an indictment for a misdemeanor? The American public isn't buying it. I yield the balance of my...
Here we go, baby. You got it. Ray Epps, disrupting the certification of the 2020 election. There you go. So, Ray Epps, to plead guilty to his misdemeanor, may serve no time in jail. May serve nothing. Well, that's curious. Misdemeanor count of disorderly and disruptive conduct of government business in a restricted building or grounds. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Julie Kelly, who I would have had on, had we not been attending to personal matters this week, she's just the world's best at this. She actually goes to the sentencing of these J6ers. She's followed every single case. She's been such a fearless reporter, and we'll have her on to talk about this. Why? Why is Ray Epps, only after the exposing of Ray Epps via Tucker Carlson, why is that only afterwards is he charged with this little slap on the wrist in order to make the entire issue go away? Strange there. Strange that. Really, really curious. Ladies and gentlemen, there is somebody else who's being pursued by our Justice Department, or Injustice Department, for clearly for just loving their country, right? Again, on January 6th, you have a couple, maybe 1,000 people who've been charged with something. January. There must have been 50,000 people there. There's some hooliganism. I'll never defend like punching a cop or anything like that. Like obviously you hurt a cop, you should go to prison. Like it doesn't matter if you're wearing a red hat.
That's fair though. That's fair.
But the vast preponderance, 99.9999%, like the actual definition of a mostly peaceful protest. Also, if the people if the people punching the cops were the federal agents or members of Antifa that were there to, like, we've seen so many accounts of that, members of Antifa that were there to try and cause disruption, to slander, and to mislead. Where's that investigation? But here's what I'll say. This is the definition of a mostly peaceful protest. Also, incumbent in the First Amendment is your right to peacefully petition your government of redresses and grievances. So every single one of us has the canonized right as a human being. Remember, our Constitution is written on natural rights. We are born with these rights. The obligation to peacefully protest our government grievances. The way it's written is to redress our government of our grievances. So that's what the people were doing that day. Practicing their
Benny be speaking his facts, man.
Okay?
Make sure y'all go subscribe to Benny.
We disavow people who punch the cops, right? We disavow the activities of Ray Epps. Obviously. Apparently, Merrick Garland does.
Man, make sure y'all go subscribe to Benny. Definitely love Benny videos of what he's talking about and stuff like that. Definitely lit. Like I said, this is my third video of what's going on with J6 and stuff. So still learning a lot of things. And that's one thing about it with, reacting to a lot of videos is just seeing and learning different things that went on, because I really wasn't into politics or anything in that type of sort, anything months back. Just started over the summer that I literally got into politics and stuff like that. So definitely make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Something I really enjoy watching, something that I enjoy, it gives you a lot of information on what's going on. I feel like a lot of people need that, especially the younger generation. And starting to react to the music the last couple of years. I have a lot of young people that still subscribe, and hopefully they're watching and seeing what's going on, even if they don't agree with I'm saying or another person is saying. Just to know what's going on is important to me. But definitely make sure you hit that like button, subscribe about the videos you want me to check out. Make sure y'all DM me on Instagram, LifeWithRecklezz, or email me, LifeWithRecklezz@yahoo.com. Make sure y'all go follow me on Rumble, LifeWithRecklezz. You already know what's going down. Catch y'all next one.